To talk a little bit more about a lot of the topics that John just brought up. The candidates, as you heard, hardly taking shots at the woman standing center stage.
I think the secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
So why aren't the candidates hitting at Hillary, and how could it impact their campaigns? Joining me now to talk about it, our political panel, the online editor for the Weekly Standard and author of Clinton Inc., Daniel Halper, and Democratic strategist Christy Setzer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
So obviously you both watched the debate last night. You've heard the sound bites, including the one over and over there from Bernie Sanders, where he actually defends Clinton. So why was this what happened last night? Why didn't they go after her? Daniel, start with you.
Well, it was as though they realized that she was probably going to be the Democratic nominee and therefore the future standard bearer of the Democratic Party, and they didn't want to annoy her. They don't want to get on the bad side of the person who will hold the keys to the Democratic Party. But look, if they realized that they wanted to win, if they had come to the conclusion that they wanted to win and they would do anything to win, they would look at the Barack Obama model. He's the one successful candidate who has beaten her in the past, and he did it by taking it to her and making the argument squarely against her. None of these candidates did that, which leads me to believe that they don't really want to be the next president of the United States, that they're content just being on the stage and being part of the debate.
Chrissy, do you agree with Daniel? And how do you think that it will impact the other candidates' campaigns moving forward?
Yeah, no, I do not agree with Daniel. I think that these candidates will have serious policy differences with Hillary Clinton, and I think they'll be willing to take shots at her on those policy differences. We actually saw some of those, where Link Chafee hit her on her Iraq vote. I think that, Bernie Sanders is going to be willing to take shots at her as well. Where they're not going to take shots at her are on, for example, the email issue, because they see that as being Republican orchestrated as an issue and not something where they are going to have a lot of success, because I think they believe that there's more to be gained in solidarity with Hillary Clinton than there is in attacking her on this.
All right. So we should mention, obviously, we do know that Lincoln Chafee did attempt to go at her in reference to her credibility, but she was able to spin that around as well. Daniel, I want to move on, though. Joe Biden, after last night, do you think that he is more or less likely to run?
Well, that's the key question. I'm not sure it factors in such a big deal to him personally. I think a lot of people will read it as she had a solid performance. She did all right. She beat expectations. And a lot of people were sort of thinking that she's on the way out, and they thought, oh, all right, she can put in a competent debate performance. Maybe we don't need Joe Biden. Look, I think Joe Biden's probably had his mind made up. I'm not sure last night is going to sway him one way or the other. I think if he were looking at that stage, he could say there's a lot of room for a competent Democrat to bring the case for her. She did a very good job of hiding behind Barack Obama and sort of hugging him, bringing him closer, saying, look, there's no space for a Joe Biden. But again, I'm not sure. I think his decision's probably been made.
Christy, I have the same question for you, though. But take a look at the polls before we do that. And this is a poll, Fox News poll, that Biden, they show him actually beating the front runners. You see there against Trump, 50%, against Jeb Bush, 46%, and then it moves on down from there. Do you think that he'll take a look at polls like these, take a look at the performance from last night, and that will be the deciding factor for him?
I don't. I mean, look, I think that he certainly has been looking at polls. I think that's why the opening here was clear and probably very compelling to him. But as the dates move on and on, we get later and later in the year, and things like the first Democratic debate actually pass and Joe Biden's not part of them, I think it becomes increasingly clear that he's probably going to take a pass on this. And I would think that last night helped solidify that decision. I obviously don't know Joe Biden's thought process on this, but I would have to say that Hillary Clinton was head and shoulders above everyone else in the debate. She was just playing in a different league. So if you're Joe Biden, you look at that and you say, you know what, I don't need to put on the red cape and come in to save the party. I think she's got this.
All right. But in a year when people seem to want outsiders, was she a little too smooth? We'll see what happens today in terms of the response. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it very much this morning.